So welcome back to another episode of Big Knick Energy Podcast. I'm your host here, Joe Yoke. We got Chindan over there with Jared Jeffries in the background. Special guest today. We got Loopy over here as well, doing the crazy things on the moon and the stars. And we got Angelo, the man that's making it all happen at BigKnickEnergy.com. Jared Jeffries, man, former Mr. Basketball of the year 2000 in Indiana. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good, man. No complaints at all. Just out here in California, staying warm.
I respect the crap out of that, man. Honestly, the four of us are all in New York, and warm.
Yeah, he's rubbing it in.
45 degrees.
He's rubbing it in. No Vaseline.
Hey, listen, man. I know. Listen, I was in the city for so long, man. Like, that's the one thing is the winters there. I swear it gets colder and that wind gets worse every year.
Since you played both in New York and Indiana for a while, I know Indiana was high school, college where you grew up. Which has worse winters?
Probably Indiana, because you got to get in the car and drive everywhere. So like you got to get like your driveway cleaned off. You got to keep your car cleaned off. In the city, worst case scenario, you can always hop in a taxi. You can always, take the subway somewhere, get a car. So it's a little bit easier to get around even when it's cold outside.
There is no snow in the subway, last I checked.
That's true. That's true.
So here, man,
it does take forever. You might as well walk out there.
Yeah, but in Indiana, you start walking, the nearest town's 12 miles away. You freeze to death. So ain't no walking out there.
Jared, you ever take a train to a game?
You know what, man? I used to live on 22nd and 6th. So I used to walk a lot, man, to different games. So I would walk the games. I took the train to Brooklyn towards the end all the time of my career. And then when Jersey was playing in, I think it was Newark, where the Devils play.
Yep.
I took a train there because they're just driving from the city all the way over to New Jersey just took too long. So I would take the train there all the time too.
How was it when people fuck with you on the train, recognize you?
Man, listen, one thing I learned about New York a long time ago, you get on the train, keep your head down, put your headphones on, and everybody's everybody on the train. They don't have
Jared, your head's got to hit the ceiling on that train, or no?
I got a story about I never took the train. I was scared to death of it because all the movies, the bombings and the hijackers.
Yo, I feel you, Jared.
That's the thing. You did get drafted at a time where that would be a major paranoia. That makes sense.
So I was scared to death. I get on the train, and this dude comes up on there, and he goes, "Can I get everyone's attention?" Yeah. I almost tackled him. It was the harmonic. It was the accordion dude that played the accordions. But when he said, "Can I get your attention?" If he would have made one wrong move, he was a goner. I was put him in a chokehold.
You almost murdered mariachi band?
He almost murdered Showtime.
He almost murdered a hustler.
Yeah, this guy was this close to getting got, but he was like, "Can I get everyone's attention?" And he, they don't know English, so they hold those sign up asking for tips, asking for donations. But he held that sign up, and when they said something for money for his family, I let him slide. But
Jared had no idea. That's like an everyday struggle in New York and the train.
Oh my God!
They wake you up when you're on your way to New York.
But you know what? To work out here. You keep the headphones on, but you pause it and put your head down because you do want to listen. So you act like your headphones are on, but your music's not playing. You're like, what are they saying?
Yeah, you got to make sure you stay aware because I'm telling you. And then I've taken the train a couple times late at night, and there'd be them crazies on there too. So I only do it if there's like bad traffic or like UNs in town. If that's not the case, then I'm a taxi and Uber guy.
Just to work off the word you just said, because I don't even want to be politically incorrect or say anything crazy. The crazies in LA versus the crazies in New York. Who is more crazy?
Probably LA, man. Like they're LA.
Really?
I don't know if this is true or not, and I could be off there, but somebody told me the other day that there are 90,000 homeless in Los Angeles County.
Damn.
Yeah, I've watched the documentary. They like
is that one
Skid Row, they drop off people.
Dude, it's so wild. Like here they have tents, they got electricity, they be having cookouts, barbecues, they got TVs in their tents. I'm like, where they got electricity from? They got solar panels. I'm like, this is wild.
Wait, they got homeless barbecues and solar, and it's 70 degrees all the time? I'm about to just be homeless. What?
Yo, let me touch base on that a little bit. When I went to LA, I stood in Hollywood, and we was in this beautiful hotel. Bro, I went to get coffee in the morning, vegan coffee. Should cost me $17 for two of them. That shit tastes like shit. Just because it was vegan. And I had to walk over like 3 bodies, bro. And they had dogs. I'm like, what? This is not even, Like in New York, you get on the train, they on the train with you. You could there's mad like seats. You're good. You could just walk by them. These dudes, you had to walk over them. It was like a maze. It was crazy in LA, bro.
Yeah, like I said, here, man, like they passed a law where they can't make a move from the sidewalks. As long as they're not impeding business, they can stay on any city sidewalk. So like you'll be walking down one sidewalk and you'll see a whole homeless camp. You got to cross the street and go around them. It's crazy.
Have they changed any of that because of COVID or anything?
Rogan, man. Rogan was just talking about that shit.
That it's like in every over underpass, every like spare place you look, there's just like a tent, like a camp, and they just be out there kicking it, having like I said, having raves, discos, it'd be barbecues, kicking it.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
Ben, we're about to move to LA.
Hepatitis C. That shit is a straight hepatitis C party.
That's a COVID-19 hepatitis A, B, C. You name it, we got it.
They're about to be filming some mesothelioma commercials out there, honestly.
Great jacket.
Yo, Jared, some more questions about your time in New York, man.
Yeah.
So what was the locker room chemistry like in your time in New York?
It was in some crazy locker rooms, Jared.
Man, I'm gonna tell you about this, man. Obviously, like the code of the NBA, anybody that does it is wrong. You don't tell stories, you don't put people out there, you don't write books. But if I were to write a book about those teams, bro, there was so much going on at all times. Like, I think I had like 60 teammates in my 6 years in New York. Like,
who was your favorite teammate on the Knicks during both tenures?
My favorite teammate, man, was probably Malik Rose. Like,
I knew he was gonna say that.
Yeah, I love Malik, bro.
He's such a vet.
Malik Rose always looks like a chill dude.
He was the best thing about him was he was so chill, so educated. We could talk about a wide variety of things, but he was still from Philly. And little known fact about Malik, I want to say it was for sure 2 times, but maybe he was stabbed 3 times.
Wow.
Like Malik's from the streets in Philly. Like it's always the dudes that really come from the streets of like bad areas that like try the hardest not to go back and like clean everything up because they've been through it and they're like, it's nothing cool about it. And then I would have other teammates, I won't say their names, that came from like both family, like, you know, upper middle class families. Both their parents still married, and they would act more street than Malik did. It always was so weird to me because I came from a farm in Indiana, so I didn't have any street in me at all. It was no street.
You're like, I didn't have a neighbor for 7 miles. I don't know who people are.
I didn't even have a street.
You rode my ass.
There wasn't no street. I was on a state road. That was what I grew up on. It was State Road 46.
Well, hey.
Yo, bro. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Malik Rose got chips. He was with the Spurs, bro.
Yeah. Malik
got a couple of chips.
Malik got a couple things. I mean, obviously the best player that was there was Melo in my time there. But even when I got there,
talking about
Steph
Melo,
was really good.
I was gonna say, since we could segue, because you brought
I got a question before that. I got a question before that.
I have a couple questions
I know that's
before
gonna go
that,
for a minute. Listen, when you guys were practicing, it wasn't in the city, right? You guys had to go upstate a little bit.
Yeah, we were in Terrytown up there.
So do you think that turns off people from New York? Like they expect to do the New York lifestyle, but they got to fucking spend most of their time practicing upstate?
Like Southern Midwestchester?
What happened was when I first got there, Isaiah, everybody talked me into buying a house in New Rochelle. It's like right off the Hutchinson Parkway. So It's like the border between Scarsdale and New Rochelle.
It's a nice area.
Right by the mall.
Yeah, but they
you used to go to the Westchester Mall.
Yeah, all the time. Yep. Right there on White Plains. But they talked us into buying a house there. Man, I was miserable because, like you just said, like I moved to New York to live in New York. So then when I came back the second time, I got my place in the city and loved it. And I made the commute. It's 23 miles. No lies. 23 miles. Exit 0 on the west side.
But
all the
city
way up
miles, that's an hour.
Sawmill. Well, but it's a reverse commute. So it would take you about 40 minutes to get there.
Okay.
And so I lived in the city, go to practice, do whatever, but then come back and I was in New York, go to different restaurants, go to Broadway and really enjoy the city as opposed to living in New Rochelle 15 minutes of practice. But then if you want to go to dinner in the city, it's 45 minutes down, 45 minutes back in 2 in the morning. Like, no.
They're saying that's the discussion with a lot of these stars going to Brooklyn, saying these guys get to practice in Brooklyn and they get to play in Brooklyn. These guys fully get the New York experience.
There's no space in New York.
But most of them still live in Manhattan.
But still, city lifestyle. You don't got to do that commute every day. You play for Brooklyn. You're playing in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Not to sound crazy or nothing, but Brooklyn just got a big fat cock all over New York right now. They're killing us. Players just practicing in Brooklyn, living in Brooklyn, because Brooklyn is like the new Manhattan right now as well. So Williamsburg.
I was living 10 blocks away from Barclays for a while, man. It's awesome over there.
It is awesome. It is awesome, man. I hear what y'all are saying, man, but it's not Manhattan, man. Like, it's just not.
No, it's not the Garden.
It's not.
Jared, coming from a player, right? No matter, I just want to hear your perspective on Brooklyn's got all these guys. They got KD, they got Kyrie, they got James. Is there any truth to no matter who's on Brooklyn's side, no matter how many championships they could win, it's always going to be New York. It's always going to be the Knicks town. You believe in that?
You can't say always because, obviously if they run off 3, 4, 5 titles, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
But it's just like the Mets, like no matter how good the Mets were, like it's a Yankees town. All the Knicks got to do, man, is get a consistent winning team. And I think they're on the right track right now. You can
they're on the right track.
They're on the right track, man. They went out. They got young players. They got guys that play hard every single night. They have a good coach. Like Tibbs, for all his stuff, man. Tibbs has a system. He's dedicated to it. His guys work hard. They play defense, and they're on the right track. Every single time that as the Knicks, you're on the right track. You try to hit a home run and you go after LeBron. Or you go get the Melo deal. Like the Melo deal killed you because you traded away all your young assets and all your picks.
Yeah, and they could have had him. We could have had him 6 months later anyway if you didn't actually make that trade. Just wait one more year.
We're going to the same conversation as the Nets, though. The Nets traded away. The second time they've done this in the past 10 years, they traded away everything for win now.
Yeah.
So right now, I love where we are as in the Knicks. We have a future. We have our picks. We're cultivating more picks.
Well, and that's the thing is, but also you got to give the Nets credit because of the young roster they built. They put together the pieces and the assets to go get James. That's the key to when you can get those 2 guys, even in free agency. You have to have enough young assets and pieces around them so that when you decide that you want to go get that 3rd star or develop that 3rd star, it's a possibility. You look at right now what LA is kind of going through. The Lakers are very, very good, don't get me wrong. But your margin for error, when you really only have 2 star players in AD and LeBron, it's not there. There's no margin for error. Like
one of them's down, they
the
start
bench
looking
isn't
bad.
that deep either, man. They don't got nobody.
And you
got Stephen A. Smith dogging them on First Take in the morning. Oh, you done lost 4 in a row. Oh my God, I'm so disgusted in you, my brother. No, he's like, you don't get a pass. They're not the Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell. I'm like, come on, relax,
Stephen A.
Listen, as long as they're in the top 4 seeds and AD is healthy, in the West, they have a really good chance. But I don't see
the Nets losing healthy though, my brother.
No. The only thing is that when you're that front court heavy, because I consider KD like a 2-3. Yeah. So like James or point, they have essentially no front court. Like their backcourt is good. Their backcourt with James and Kyrie and KD is really good. But when you go into the front court that they have to go against AD is a monster, man. Like he's almost unguardable and he's a perfect playoff player. Like in the playoffs, he can catch the ball at 18 feet and you can't guard him one-on-one. And he's a good enough passer. He's a great defender,
Jared, what's your call for the championship? Who are you predicting?
The healthy of the Lakers. I think unless they open it up, also will say this, unless they open it up and they have teams travel and there are fans, then I think that could help somebody play against the Lakers. the reason that in a bubble and limited fans, the Lakers are a dominant team is LeBron is so laser focused on his legacy. Like LeBron wins another one. You literally can't say anyone but LeBron and MJ. You can't. Like people are going to argue, they're going to do whatever. LeBron's going to end with 5 titles. He's going to be number 1 all time in scoring. He's going to be top 5 in rebounds, top 5 in assists, top 10 in steals, number 1 in minutes played all time, number 1 in games won, number 1 in games played. Like
longest prime. He's been in his prime for like 15 years now.
Most playoff minutes.
You know what I'm saying? And 2 gold medals. Like, so you're not going to be able to question his accolades, man. Like, so he sees that. He knows that his years are getting down there, and he's so focused, and he keeps the Lakers so focused just by his work ethic and how he goes out and plays every single night that I don't think anyone in the limited fan system was going to be able to beat them.
Jared, I got a good cross sports question for you. If you were to pick a more focused athlete or a better competitor, I'll name all 3 since LeBron and Jordan is still a conversation to be had. Add Brady in there. Brady, Jordan, LeBron. Best competitor and best athlete.
Best athlete is LeBron. I think LeBron's the greatest athlete we've seen in sports.
Fucking robot.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'9", 265 pounds, never been hurt. Like, plays 75 plus games every single year. Has been to the finals 10, 11 times in the finals. So he's playing at least 20 games in the postseason. Then he plays every summer in the Olympics and international competition. Like,
he spends like $1 million on his body in the off season too.
Yeah, it's probably like more, man. Like, but by the time he hires a nutritionist, physical therapist, workout people, everyone around him, he's probably in the $3 or $4 million range, man.
Oh my God.
It's like small change for him though, honestly, especially for how much money he's making through endorsements and making all the championships.
It's a good investment, but when you look at guys that have his body type, that's why when I used to scout for the Nuggets, we would look for certain people that have certain body types. LeBron and Karl Malone have the same physical dimensions. They're the exact same dimension.
That's tight.
That's interesting.
They are. And Karl Malone had the same long, illustrious career with limited injuries. Like, when you're built like that, man, and you take care of your body and you work hard, just by genetic purposes, man, you're going to be good. Like, you're going to be able to play, 75 plus games every year.
It's interesting.
Which is extremely hard to do and awesome for him, honestly, especially as a Knicks fan. I'm going to say it for all of us. Fuck LeBron James.
No,
listen, while we're talking about all-stars and shit, I think I want to get into a topic that everybody that follows us wants to hear.
Oh.
And I think it's that time he got in the brawl with Melo when he was on the Nuggets.
As it's your background.
Right?
Yeah, right here. This is what
I was in my feelings.
We want to know, what was it, 15 years ago?
I'm a big Knick fan.
2006, 15.
We want to know the thoughts 15 years later about this situation right here.
That's funny, man.
I want to hear the thoughts of that night.
I just did a clubhouse the other day, and me and J.R. Smith were laughing about this.
Oh my God, JR, we love him.
Yeah, that was my man. Me and J.R. laughing about it. Really,
yeah, y'all was going at it.
Well, really, man, it was a situation where, as players, you get caught up in emotion of your coach. Our coach was our leader, and George and Isaiah had their stuff that they were doing, and George was running the score up. Isaiah was upset about it, and emotion got the best of everybody that night. That could have easily been solved a totally different way, but us being embarrassed by being down that many points, them not having their starters in, somebody should have had the cooler heads prevail.
Jared, do you remember the lineup that was out there before, as this was all initiated? Do you remember that 5 that was on the floor?
From the Knicks 5, it would have had to have been, I think, maybe Channing,
Marty,
Nate, me, and D. Lee.
Was it Camby?
Yeah, David Lee.
No, me and David Lee. Yeah, me and David Lee. And I mean, man, I don't ever want to fight.
Was there any weird shit after that, and then being in the locker room, Melo after?
No, he was like, man, I wish this and this, I would have whooped you. I said, man, maybe so, but if I would have caught you, I would have caught you.
So it was all love after?
Yeah, it's all love, man. I mean, I'm sure we've all been there, man. Like you've been there with guys that you don't really know, you kind of know, and you exchange words with people, and you guys want to fight, but then like
heat of the moment, shit.
Testosterone's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, well, and adrenaline can be like alcohol. You know what I mean? It can be intoxicating, man. Like to where you get caught up with something and you're mad, and then when your adrenaline calms down, you're like, I'm not that mad anymore. Really, like don't mean a lot. It also changes a lot when you get fined. I think I got fined like 125 grand.
That hurts way more than the fight.
You got to pay that one shot.
Everybody that watches the league, they go, oh, they get fines, whatever. That don't mean shit. Does it?
That shit, it hurts, boy.
It does? Because I remember, I've never
Jeff,
seen it. All these dudes I see, they
shot?
get fined 50 down. I'm like, fuck them, they make it. Fuck them, they're fun. It's not like that.
No, man. Look, like some guys are crazy. So, Steve Frank. So we have to do all these meetings, like diversity training, media training, all this
so you
stuff.
get reprimanded.
Well, no, you just have to do them as part of like your classes for the league itself. So they tried to we had Steve Francis. So this when Steve was with us in New York, bro, we had to come in for the meeting. And if you skip the meeting, it's like a 10 grand fine.
Oh, damn. So they make you go.
Yeah. So everybody goes, bro, Steve Francis, he comes in, he was like, all right, y'all. And he's laughing. If you know Steve's crazy. And they were like, all right, Steve, this, and this. They're going to fine you 10 grand. He goes, call my accountant, and just kept walking right on out the room. This guy.
Yo, Jared, can I ask you a question? When you get the $100,000 fines, you got to pay them right there?
No. It comes. So what it does is they say it goes to charity. I'm not sure what charity it goes to.
Like, Adam Silver Wallet Foundation.
Yeah, nobody knows what charity it goes to, but it's supposed to go to a charity of that the league chooses or whatever, and it comes out of every check. So they don't ding you at once, but it's like whatever. So if it's $100,000, they'll set up a schedule where they'll take out $10,000 on every check for the next 10 cycles or whatever.
Oh, so DeMarcus Cousins still getting fines taken out.
DeMarcus Cousins got a 20-year plan with the NBA.
If we're gonna bring New York into it, it's like Bobby Bonilla being paid by the Knicks still. I mean, that's still.
Nah, man. What's wild, man, is just like how bad luck certain things. Like you look at DeMarcus and Isaiah Thomas. The NBA is the most amazing league to me, but it's also such a thing. Like DeMarcus Cousins is looking at getting a max contract. Everything's set up, everything's good, tears his Achilles.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas looking at making $90 million, man. Sign it up. Sign up my $90 million, man. Hurts his hip. Like, and
I hate what they did to Isaiah, man.
They did though. I mean, he was injured. He was injured. Like his hip was never right. And we talk about it. His margin for error being 5'6" or 5'7", whatever he is, it's not there. Like being that little and you lose a step, and now you can't blow by guys, and you can't finish at the rim anymore.
This spot's taken. This spot's taken real quick.
Also, back
somebody
to
younger.
Back to the Nate Robinson thing. It's like he's not nearly as thick or anything like that. So it's like Isaiah was like a small, compact dude for the most part. Like he's gonna get hurt easier anyway.
Speaking of Nate Robinson, Jared, your teammate. How about that fucking him versus the YouTube
Jake
fighter,
Paul.
man?
Yeah. Did you see that?
You know what's crazy, man, is that I called him because I've been out here in California and I've always loved boxing. Always loved boxing. And he told me he was going to do it.
You got that reach, fam.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, and he's 10 years younger.
No, you got that reach.
No, yeah, but I'm not. Listen to me. Have any of y'all ever boxed before? Just sparred boxing? Has any of you guys ever done it before?
I've sparred a couple times.
Yeah, I have. When you get punched in the face, even with headgear on and mouth,
it hurts.
It hurts, and it's so disorienting. Unless you're used to getting punched in the face, it isn't just like go in there and get punched in the face and bounce back. I was sparring, got punched in the face, and I called timeout. I was like, I was in the wrong sport. I was like, timeout. They were like,
you're like, pass the rock.
Boxing. Like
butterflies, bro. Pass the rock.
Yeah, you can't call timeout. I mean, listen, Jake Paul, he had a longer reach. He's 10 years younger. Like, that was a bad fight, man. Like, that wasn't the right kind of fight for him to take.
You think your boy goes back in, does another fight?
No, why?
You think he's done? He doesn't
Robinson
try to
for
come back
sure.
from
Robinson
that?
should never do that
bro.
again.
It's not for the check at this point.
No, you gotta
I
realize
think it's for honor. He's got to come back, man. He's got to do another
Yeah.
fight.
No.
Fuck honor, bro. I want my
man,
life.
listen to me, man. You can get hurt boxing, man. Like,
Yeah.
Straight up.
Facts, bro.
Joking around.
It's not like no charity event, man. Where like you can go play and you can dunk a couple times and have fun. Like you get punched in the face too many times, and now your words get all slow. You can't think straight. Like
you look at Muhammad Ali.
He shouldn't have gone up the first time, honestly. Once he got knocked down the first time, he should have stayed down.
Jared, did he get paid for that?
Yeah, for sure.
He did? Yeah.
Sure.
Assume you're gonna fight a YouTube fighter. You need something.
Yeah. No, listen, everybody thinks that like you get out there, you're gonna box. Boxing probably one of the most technical, hardest sports in the world. Because not just for the conditioning aspect of it, but then after your conditioning, when you're getting punched, man, it takes your legs away, especially body shots, getting hit in the head. Like it's not an easy thing, man.
Don't they have the Paul brother lined up with Mayweather?
Yeah, but I don't think that'll ever happen, man. Like, I mean,
Mayweather ain't wasting his time with that shit, bro.
No, he posted it.
No, Floyd might do it, but he also fought that guy in Japan last year for whatever 15 million or 20 million, whatever it was, and he beat him up in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like,
oh wow.
Like that's not going. Like Floyd might fight him, but Floyd's not going to lose to somebody like that. Even if at 40 years old, Floyd's not going to lose.
Too smart.
Jared,
he's been doing it too long.
Yeah. I mean, he's also never lost. I mean, he can keep taking fake boxing matches with all these people that never boxed forever, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, Jared, listen, I know you were doing the esports thing for a while.
Yeah.
You want to talk about video games, stuff like that?
I will, man.
What's going on?
You know, we did all of that. The greatest investment we made is actually a kid from New York. His name is Joke. He was the national Madden player, man. So we had Madden, we had Gears of War.
I didn't know you had Madden.
Yeah, we were one of the first esports organizations that we had Madden. Most orgs don't do one-off games where you just have one guy because it's hard to monetize it. But we had Madden, we had FGC, we had like Sonic Fox, Mewtwo King, MK Leo. So we had Super Smash.
Jared, were you into gaming yourself? What got you into the esports?
Just being crazy and not being scared of anything. Like
I got a phone. I'm happy you recognize the angle, like the generation's going, man. These kids are eating this shit up, man.
Also, scared money don't make no money. You got to invest in something, right?
Well, yeah, and also too, man, like the NBA is always going to be there, and I got a phone call that you could do something like this, do something new, and I learned a lot. It was my first time being president of a company. I had 60 employees, and it was awesome.
Nice. Congrats,
cool.
man.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. That's got to be cool to do. Like, you leave the NBA, all you know is basketball, then you get put in this situation where it's like, oh, shit, I'm a fucking boss right now.
Like I was director of personnel for the Nuggets, so they wanted to see if we could run it like a true sports program, so I implemented a lot of the things that we did with the Nuggets. Yeah, so we put a lot of the same stuff, like based, and believe it or not, a lot of games like League of Legends.
Big money in League of Legends, big.
You guys do Overwatch at all?
We did not do Overwatch. We did League. We did Call of Duty. We did Dota for a little while.
Big money in Dota.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised at the analytics and how technical it is for those guys. And I mean,
it's a sport, man. It
is.
I used to travel. I used to actually play Halo. I used to travel. I used to play Halo, but it fell off.
Well, no. So they're gonna release the new Halo.
Yeah,
it's been pushed back. But when they release a new Halo, they're gonna give all the orgs teams, and they're gonna do a competitive Halo.
Are they?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Jared, I wanted to work off a question for the esports thing because it was under Rick Fox, right? He was one of the co-signers. Better businessman you ever worked with, Michael Jordan or Rick Fox?
Michael Jordan.
And why is that?
Because also MJ's so lucky because of his brand. I mean, the shoe thing. Now. I mean, the shoe thing that he's doing right now and how big it's gonna be. I mean, they're probably gonna overtake Adidas at some point. You know what I mean? Like they're just so massive in sports, and they're doing a good job of the cross promotion for the golf cleats. So I mean, I'm still brand Jordan. The golf cleats that I have are so sick. Like I have the patent leather grays and golf cleats. I have all black 3s.
Nice. Shout out Jordan Golf.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, he has just opened up his golf course, Grove 23, down in Jupiter. So it's gonna be massive, man. It's gonna be huge.
That brand.
We got
Jordan
Joe. We might have to go check that out. We're in
for
Florida
sure.
soon.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
We're going in April.
Jordan golf cleats?
Yeah. They got a bunch of them, like I said, and they're doing that. I mean, they've always had baseball and football, but like they're just gonna keep expanding these markets, man. They're gonna get bigger, and now with him being the logo on all of the jerseys, like that's huge, man. Like, so instead of Nike and Adidas that have been there forever and Reebok, like you have Jumpman on all the teams have it on their jerseys now.
Yeah.
Like his logo itself, man, it's only getting bigger.
It's iconic, man.
I was gonna say, speaking of logos, how do you feel about the Kobe Bryant becoming the NBA logo hype? Would you agree with that?
I mean, listen, I think that we have to also be careful of all the time, like the cancel culture that's around the rest of the world. Like we got to be careful always, always saying this, but I don't see why not, man. I think that Kobe did a lot for the game.
I think the entire fan base, league, everybody's on board. Like,
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
I don't even think that. How does it get up to discussion to the league? Like, I feel like it's not even.
I mean,
to the higher ups.
Well, you also got to realize too that the economics that are involved. I don't know this at all. This is just talking. But the reason they don't allow players to change jersey numbers every year is because fans buy those jerseys, and fans actually get upset when they have to go buy a new number for their player, the most recent one. And they pre-print these jerseys like 6 to 8 months in advance. And when a player, remember when AD signed with the Lakers and LeBron tried to give him the number, and the league stepped in like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, not yet at least.
Because they'd already printed all of LeBron's numbers for that year, and they were like, it's going to cost us $50 million. To
I didn't even think about that. And that's
so you don't know if you do Kobe as the logo, how much does the league have to spend globally to redo that? And I'm not saying that money should play into what's doing right or wrong, but it is still a business. So people have to understand, like, it's not just as easy as, we're going to make it, Kobe Bryant the logo. Like, there's a lot of things that got to be changed before that can happen.
Jared, but there's another end where if the logo changes, like myself, I'm a collector. If this iconic image wasn't here, you wouldn't see I have a lot of collectibles behind me. I feel like if you change the logo, the original NBA logo means more to me. I'm going to try to buy as much as I can with the original NBA logo before the switch. Like when the Nets moved to Brooklyn, it was like, get your hands on some New Jersey Nets shit. You know?
Or like the Seattle Sonics are buying all that stuff.
Because that eventually it will go up in value, like WWF. The old WWF shit is worth something. They changed their name, WWE.
Yeah. That for sure from a collectible standpoint. But as you know, like secondhand or third party stuff never benefits the league.
Yeah.
It doesn't benefit the league. It's just like Nike's trying to get involved in secondary shoes with sneakers and like trying to do that kind of thing because they're missing out on so much money. We as consumers, when we see a pair of shoes for $500, we're like, oh my God, I would never pay that. And then we see it on StockX for $2,000. We're like, no, not that bad. I'll buy those. It makes the shoe companies themselves can't charge $2,000. They can charge $500, but the secondary market can charge whatever they want.
Yeah, that's like the next gen console conversation.
Yeah.
Jared, I wanted to ask you real quick because we're actually at a decent amount of time already.
Yeah, we're almost at time. Yeah.
How long did you have the fishing show on Outdoor Channel?
I had it for 5 years, man. It was fun. Mr. Kroenke, the owner of the Nuggets, he asked me if I wanted to hunt. I said, not really. He said, do I fish? I said, yes. So he allowed me to have a fishing show for like 5 years, man. It was awesome.
That is actually crazy. That he just asked
cool,
me.
right?
That's sick. Yeah.
Only black guy in the world with a fishing show.
What about Lance Thomas? No?
He got he's not on network TV though. So I was on network TV.
YouTube don't count.
Ange, we need to get some clips from his fishing show. Fucking get those views back up. Are you still on the air with that? I had no idea you had a fucking fishing show.
I haven't done it. I haven't done it for about.
Bro, we're gonna get your views back up. We're getting your show back on the air.
We're getting season 6 out there.
We're getting you on Netflix or some shit.
That'd be great. I gotta get. You know what I should do? I should put it on Amazon. See if Amazon wants to buy it.
Yeah, right.
Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, something will hit, right?
Dude,
yeah, right.
Fuck it. We'll make a fucking Knicks Plus,
Dude, wait,
and
what's
we'll
crazy
put
is
Jared
it's
Jeffries
like
fishing
Melo.
back.
It's like obviously like Lance and me have fished together with the same guys down in Louisiana, and Melo liked to fish. Wilson Chandler liked to fish. There's a lot of guys on those Knicks teams that I was around that like to fish.
It's such a peaceful thing to do.
What do you
Really
fish for, Jared? What's your favorite thing to fish for?
Tuna.
Damn, yeah, but you're fighting for hours with that tuna, no, Jared?
Man, I don't fight for hours, buddy. Listen. If you caught one, you caught them all. So as soon as I hook them, I put the drag as high up as I can, and either I break them off or I bring them in. I'm not fighting no fish for no hours.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
You take them home, you eat them.
Believe it or not, man, if I told you how much I knew about fish and the mercury and how many of them have parasites and worms, you would eat very few fish. Like,
just ruin sushi for me, Jared.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Let me tell you.
Anytime I go anywhere now, they're gonna you want sushi and be like, nah, Jared Jeffries told me that.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
Mercury.
My dad's a huge fisherman, and this is in Jamaica Bay. It used to be like a really great fishing area in New York, or some of the best in the world. I don't know. Right where he goes fishing, right? It's right by JFK Airport, and it's actually where the airport dumps their fuel into the water. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of fish there, and they just feed off all the shit that the airport dumps into the water. And if you take out that fish from that water, you smell the gas coming off that water, and there is no way that you clean that fish. It's the gas still.
You hold your nose, you eat that. You be a fucking man and you fucking eat that.
That's how I think about kids and people who swim on the Hudson and go jet skiing in that green water.
I open my fucking window. I got the Hudson River right here, Loopy. I see him every day.
Loopy, I'll make it worse for you. I'll make it worse for you real quick. I've swam in the Hudson more times than I can count. Yeah.
Me too.
Where do you swim and why?
All right, Jared, you ever heard of Newburgh, New York? That's where I'm from.
Same.
So we had a rowing club growing up in high school. So I was on one of the rowing teams. At the end of the year, it was tradition. You jump off the dock. And I was on the team for like 6 years. I was in the Hudson River a lot.
Okay. It's one thing.
I got 3 nipples now, Jared Jeffries.
It's one thing to jump in one time. It's another thing to constantly be swimming in that lake.
Yeah, no, they do have somewhere here called I forgot what the fucking name is, but they call it Little Beach, and they got kids swimming in there, and they wonder why they're not good at math.
Yeah, in the Hudson. In the Hudson.
Oh my God, no!
Yeah, that water is green. I'm talking about that shit from the Ninja Turtles.
No, we know. It's Loopy. It's green all the way from here to Albany, man. It's the whole way.
Yo, Jared, I got a question for you.
What up, brother?
Tap water. What's better, New York City or California?
I like New York. You know what? I like New York tap water. Actually, I don't mind it. Like. I mean,
hell yeah. We're 1-0. Well, we're 2-0. Loopy gave 1. We got 2-0 for New York tap water.
Yeah, New York tap water, man. I mean, from what I've read, it's from the cleanest in the country. I don't know how it is, but they must have good chemicals.
My man,
listen, Jared, we're talking about putting together a bottled water company. If you want to partner with us, Loopy's New York Water.
Vin, if you
New York tap.
Only PC.
Vin, if you keep spending the whole time getting New York Knicks players on here and asking to do your crazy ideas, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not hosting for you.
Jared, this is surprise. You're on Shark Tank, bro.
Can you sell tap water if you put it in bottles? Is that possible?
I mean, bro, you ever
Nestle tap water?
You ever had
Nestle
Crystal
tap water
Glacier?
sounds like it. Yeah, Crystal Glacier is even worse.
That shit tastes like sewer water.
No, I agree, but I'm saying you gotta label it somewhere else. Like, what if you like?
Nah,
really
you definitely can't. You definitely can't.
No, I'm saying, but what if you got like a pack? What if you got a pack of water? Then you called it city waters. And you had like New York, Chicago, and LA tap water in cases.
Jared, don't be getting ideas.
Yeah, he's really got it on the move. He's got the idea.
Don't be getting ideas.
Yo, Jared, that's a good one, but we'll definitely be going to the fence for
that. Right.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jared, listen, man, it's been a fucking blast talking to you, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks, you guys.
I hope we get to have you back, man. It was fucking dope.
No, for sure. I'm chill, man. Like I said, I'd love to come back, man. Once the Knicks start, we know what we'll do is let them keep going, and we'll do a playoff preview.
All right,
we're about that. We're about that.
Yeah.
All right,
we'll do a playoff preview, man.
Anything you want to plug before we go?
Nah, man. Listen. I'm telling you, man. Like I still love the city, man. I love New York.
Thank you, bro. We love you. We love you.
It really
too,
is,
bro.
man. It's one of those spots. I tell everybody, man. Like you go there, and if you're not playing well, the city is supposed to come after you and talk shit about you. But when you play well and you're playing good, there's nowhere in the world like New York, man. There's nothing like it. So,
yes, sir. And we were happy to have you, man.
Here, Jared, before you run, if you don't want to plug it, we'll plug it for you. Netflix, put this man back on fishing on the Netflix. Netflix. What are you doing?
We need this Jared Jeffries fishing show.
I'm into it.
Modern post-COVID fishing with Jared Jeffries. I'm all about it.
Yo, Lucas, New York City water endorsed by Jared Jeffries.
City water, see? There you go. All right,
Jared, thank you, bro.
Yo, Jared, be good, brother. Stay blessed. God bless you,
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
appreciate you, man.
Thanks for life.
Yep.
And guys, we just had Jared Jeffrey on Big Knick Energy. Woo! I loved everything that just happened right here. Do you guys have anything to say before we sign off?
Yeah, put your Nick away.
Whip your Nick out and put your Nick away.
Week.
We'll be back next week, baby. I'll talk to y'all later.
Whip it out, and and put it away.
Big Knick Energy, 12 inches.
Light on the moon. Yeah.
Love you guys.